Alright, what is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Shoutcast Sunday. I haven't done these in a while now. So this is actually a game that I was playing on last week's Double Aura Synergy Brawl. So we have Double Aura and Synergy, so we all spawn at the same time. And we also have Bastion, which increases the health of our base structures. So I'm playing as Raynor here. I was just playing for funsies. But if I am not mistaken, I rolled double blood. I haven't picked anything yet. So I'm just rolling out with some firebats here. I'm trying to like deselect these units because right now they're selected and like it's kind of annoying. So yeah, I just wanted to showcase this game because it's barbecue time. This is a very fun barbecue time game. So we're against Swan and Stukov here, and oh my god, barbecue time is so good against so good against Stukov. It doesn't look like I have my blood yet. But I'm taking like 5 damage. Oh, wait, hold on. Looks like I'm healing here. So Stukov's sending out his boys, and there's a Nova. So I'm just gonna barbecue time these guys. So I have double blood right now. Raynor's stim here is gonna make it so I attack super fast. I'm just gonna roast these guys here. Nova, of course, sniping me down, but you know that's just Nova life. Let's go back here. Do I have my... I haven't picked an aura yet. I don't think I've picked an aura yet. Mostly because I didn't know what I was up against. Usually don't want to pick auras too early. So I think I just picked both auras here, and both of these are blood. And then we're going to see blood firebats in action very soon. Obviously that guy got sniped. You can see how he's just tanking that laser beam like it is nothing. And we're going to heal back up to full. And all these jumpy boys and Swan Goliaths are just going to do nothing. And so this is one time where actually Raynor frontline, you guys are going to see just how redonkulous it is. Raynor actually has a really good frontline if you go all out on it, in Synergy at least, in Synergy. Like I think just, you know, regular Direct Strike one-on-one Raynor might not be able to pull this off, but I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm going to, like this is being recorded before like our regular scheduled program for the week, so I may try mass firebats. So I think this week is bountiful or something like that. Anyways, you can see here Stukov's boys are just getting roasted and toasted. Artanis went for an Archon here. I understand why Artanis would go for an Archon because it's like a bit of a crowd control thing here. But Archons are, they're not the greatest against the Nova, especially with Nova Ghost. But I think later on Artanis ends up doing something different here. I think my Manx is just saving us some dollars, but I really need Manx to do some damage with his tanks. You can see the Psy Storm here is affecting the... I think Stukov's boys have some sort of blood. They have some sort of regeneration. But they have life and regeneration, but that's not going to be enough here. We got a tank. A Nova tank here shelling us. That's gonna give us some trouble here. But right now we're just pulling out some more boys. There we go. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna need to get an editor for the Christmas break because I'm gonna try and roll out some Cyberpunk content and some other stuff. I have never, ever in my life had an editor. It's always been a one-man show here. I mean, it's kind of scary because I'm just like, oh my god, working with other people. But also, it's kind of cool. I don't know, like you know. I mean, it seems like the theme for me this half of year, like this end of the year, has been getting like expanding my social connections and like just working with more people. And one thing I really want to work on this year, I mean, I guess in the coming year for 2023, is just being more able to, able to inspire conversation, I would say. Inspire conversation through interesting questions. Because my buddy who I'm doing the podcast with, he is a question master, but it wasn't always like that, you know? Like, he has the natural curiosity, but he put in a lot of work for it too. And I recognize that I could probably do something like that if I also put in the work and the hours. Yesterday I had a little get-together with my buddies, without my buddy who was doing the podcast with me. His name's Ed. And yeah, without Ed, like I think the party sort of fizzled out because we all just sort of like sat there and were like, oh, okay. It also didn't help that we had the TV on playing rap, and I'm like, oh, this is such not a party thing, you know? It's like you gotta sit down and talk about stuff. But yeah, you know, group dynamics, as long as we're enjoying ourselves and no one's hating, that's all that matters. So you can see here the firebats are pulling through now. We have 2 firebats from the previous wave. They're gonna get joined here by the other firebats here. And look at that, the firebats are just completely incinerating all these light units. It is beautiful. Oh my god. It just feels so good. and they're just gonna roast their way through the Goliaths as well. And because there's so many of them, and they have blood, they're just healing, they're just gonna power through all these tanks. The Archons are also great because they are taking hits for the Firebats instead, so they don't die too hard to the tanks. And the Firebats are just roasting, man. They're just roasting. I love the Firebat design. It's just like a dude with a giant suit with flamethrowers. These I think Raynor Firebats are honestly better than whatever Firebats were in StarCraft 1. Firebats in StarCraft 1 was literally a Marine with the flamethrower. And then that was it. It was a Marine with the flamethrower and that was it. They had like 5 more HP and I'm like, wow, this guy's supposed to be my frontline tank. How am I supposed to do this? But I guess it's also more realistic, you know? I don't know. Like the Terran Marine having only just like a little bit more, like the Firebat having just a little bit more health than the Marine. But I guess like now, StarCraft 2, it's like they have bigger suits, and so the bigger suits are supposed to be giving them more health, you know? Oh my god. So the Firebats are just roasting their way through everything. They're hitting twice a second, thanks to their stim packs and the Merc munitions, which is honestly really, really good. Really, really good. And then we're just gonna cleanse it all. Look at that. Oh my god. Soon it will all be clean. Soon it will all be clean. And the Psystorm's coming in here to help out as well. I think, honestly, I think Artanis needs, like, the Psystorms, I think he's got enough now. And at this point, he needs to start contributing with, like, Immortals. I think Immortals plus my Firebats are honestly an amazing combo. And I think at some point, I start typing that to let him know. Because right now, we are kind of struggling to get through some of the armored units at the end. Because obviously my Firebats, they don't do that much damage to armored. I mean, they do like 40% more damage to light units, right? Which is actually not that much more. I don't know, they attack pretty fast too. I have a few medics here to keep my Firebats like topped up. Back when Stabilizer med packs that had that 25% damage reduction, that would have actually been insane. There's too many tanks. I think that's my that's my Manx here. Manx needs to put his tanks actually further in the front. I just noticed that, like, because they have fast siege, so you can just put them in the front. So I think there we go. I'm telling them to get some Immortals, because Immortals will absolutely destroy. I don't know why Swan went for Goliaths instead of, like, I don't know, Science Vessels or tanks even. Like Swan tanks, I think would kick more butt than Nova tanks. I mean, actually no, into Manx tanks, Nova tanks are probably better. But yeah, Swan, I don't know why Swan went this many Goliaths, because Goliaths are only good if there's something that flies really, that you really have to take care of, because they're super fragile. They're just like worse Marines in many aspects. So yeah, Goliaths are just gonna get knocked over like it's nothing, and my tanks are just gonna blow everything up. Bam, bam. Actually, well, these are the Manx tanks here. Manx tanks have the advantage right now because we have aggro being drawn here. We got 2 medics, they're healing each other, getting taken out here. Huge shield, that's gonna be insane because now my Firebat's gonna have like 300 health. Some explodey boys coming in here, massacring a bunch of Firebats over there. But we got more Firebats coming in, boys. If Raynor had a value generating unit, it should be a walking barracks that only built Firebats. I would 100% buy that. Walking barracks that generates Firebats. I think this is 2 waves worth of tanks now. So that's starting to look really good in our favor. We have 2 Immortals coming out here from Artanis. Firebat's getting a little caught on the tanks, but that's okay. They're like just out there screening the tanks, and you can see here, wow, they just tore through that. And then we got triple waves of Manx tanks now just stacking up, and this is gonna become downright oppressive. Immortals here are gonna make quick work of armored structures as well as enemy tanks, and so is Manx tanks. And the thing is, like, the Immortals, I mean, they're not really taking too much aggro from the jumpy boys, but it's mostly the Firebats. Yeah, but the exploding boys are doing a number on them. I think Stukov should have gone tanks too, probably, without this many exploding boys. But Stukov's still going frontline. Though I understand that, like, I think Swan needed Thors if he didn't get tanks, like at least Thors and Science Vessels. Because I understand that Stukov is probably better off as frontline, because Swan frontline is all light as well. Even if they are slightly bigger in size, they are still light, so my Firebats will still do a number on them. All those area spots with 7 armor would have actually been pretty good. It must suck being all armored units against Swan and Manx. I mean, technically they're all He has a bunch of light units here too. You can see here the Firebats are just gonna power through, absolutely plowing through these units here. We're getting really close to the laser beam now. We have this huge wave of Meng's tanks in the back backing us up. The shock divisions are actually insane. And I'm just constantly scanning so the shock divisions never lose vision. And then my medics here are just healing that immortal, healing each other, delaying time for the next wave of Firebats to come in. And then Meng's tanks with their fast siege are just gonna obliterate all these guys here. Wow. That's a huge stack of Meng's tanks. The only problem now is you have to contend with the Nexus, obviously, because the Nexus is giving us some trouble. And now we see some Banshees coming along here, actually. And I think the Banshees are actually going to give us a bit of trouble here. So we were so close to ending the game, but the Banshees came in. So I pinged the Banshees because I actually don't want to stop building Firebats. But I think I am forced to build some Vikings in the end. Because right now we have no real answer to these Banshees, besides the handful of Archons that we got. We got a GG being tossed out here by our guy. But it's a little early, I would say. Lots and lots of tanks. But because we're so close to the enemy base, my Firebats just got shredded by the Nexus. So now these distractlings, the broodlings, are just distracting the tanks, which are actually very effective. There we go, boom. Stukov Banshee's coming in here. Ooh. Yeah, so we're getting mince-meated here by all the tanks, and Nova's tanks are starting to stack as well, reasonably well. So we're gonna get back pushed here. But there are still like 6 Meng's tanks here, so it's not to be underestimated whatsoever. They are still going to do a huge number on this wave before they either get taken down or reinforcements arrive. Looks like reinforcements are here. We got some Phoenixes coming in. Phoenixes should be a good counter to the Banshees here. There we go. I blame Jimmy. Jimmy being me. With all of these Firebats. So you can see a Raynor Frontline is actually very, very effective. Granted, your allies have the backup for you. And because Firebats, I would say, is actually one of the higher DPS Frontlines, because they attack fast. Like the Hellbats, Napalm Spray is like every 1.5 seconds. They deal 30 damage to a light unit. So really, the DPS is like, what is it, 30 divided by 1.5? It's like half of that, right? So it's really only doing 15 damage, which I guess is kind of still equivalent to a Firebat, but the Firebat it hits twice, so it does 30. So my Firebats actually do twice as much damage as a Hellbat, even if the Hellbat cone is bigger. So I would actually say Firebats are the superior front line in terms of like getting through things fast. But I guess Hellbats take slightly less splash because they are physically bigger, like unit model wise. And I mean, they are light though, so they do get countered by by Firebats. My Firebat squadron here coming in here. Immortals here just gonna mincemeat most of these Goliaths, but I think they're stuck on some Ares bots, which my Firebats can take care of, realistically. Swan with the 4 armor. You could have had some like 10 armor Ares bots. That would actually have given my Firebats a bit of trouble, even though my Firebats still bonus damage to them. Because then my Firebats would have only dealt like 5 damage to them. And then, so here I have a single Viking here. It's just healing up. It doesn't get one shot from the Liberator. It's just going to keep surviving. We got a Black Hammer coming through now. Lots and lots of Meng's tanks. I don't know if I'm dropping some scans here. Vikings actually have synergy with the Phoenixes here, because they pick up stuff and the Vikings just shoot at them. But of course the Vikings don't actually target the tanks unless they have to, like, unless there's nothing left. And look at that. Most things are just cleaned up here. You know, we're not really standing much of a chance. And we purging them. They're all mostly done. Bam. I'm dropping some scans here so we can see those Banshees. Firebats here, just honestly, it's just such great front line. I don't know, I think maybe the Blood's helping them, but also like committing completely to Firebats really helps as well. They of course drop off if you have to like min-max Firebats to tanks to Marauders or something like that. But in a situation with synergy where you're, like, all you're doing is building Firebats, you're just plowing through, man. Like, I remember I played against a Raynor as Zagara in like a synergy match, and I was like, oh, that's easy, I just gotta build abs. But this guy had so many Firebats that it literally felt impossible for my abs to breach the formation because there were just so many of them. There were too many of them. I think eventually we did win, but I was like surprised at how long it took us to get through. So here we're gonna roast that base here. The Firebats are on Nexus duty here. Nexus is being healed, but I don't think that's gonna be enough, boys. Oh my god, it is so close here. I think the tanks might take it if they start aggroing the Nexus. I think just one more shot, and there it is. It clearly says here the Nexus has 62 health, but you know, apparently it doesn't have any more. Nexus has been torn to shreds, boys. That's that. I think I need to wait for myself to pull up the damage stats, because I don't think I'm doing that right now. Or maybe I can just take over. Here, can I take over? I'm gonna go over to my perspective here. There we go. Look at the overview here. So yeah, damage dealt, damage taken. Just the highest stats for both. Well, actually, not the highest. I mean, Manx actually did a bit more, but I was actually very surprised that I did so much damage here. And I think do I go through it here? Come on, where are the units here? So yeah, units, mineral value lost. Oh, maybe you can guys pause the video. Anyways, if you guys enjoy this Shoutcast, be sure to leave a like.
The tires. Let's light some fire.